The Blackstone, endless side quests. Loading complete.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Blackstone, doing the endless fetch quest so you don't have to. Today is Sacrifice and Party. We have the wonderful Kimmer, as always. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing pretty good, man. How about you?
I'm doing well, just getting a little bit over cold, so I apologize if my voice is a little more gravelly than normal. Other than that, we're going to be talking about the fall anime season, which seems to be the kind of big talking nerd point right now. I know you and I have a lot of anime to watch, a lot of anime that we have watched, and a lot in between. So I'm curious, what are your thoughts on the new season in terms of just as a general basis? Does it look good? Does it look bad? Because every year there's always one season that just looks like complete and total shit.
Yeah, I would have to say that this season is actually looking up to shape pretty good. There's a lot of fire anime that I've already have seen, and that there's some that I still need to watch that I'm going to actually watch after this podcast, probably later in the night. I definitely think it's probably, I think the spring season was the best, though, in my opinion. Summer was very lackluster, but I definitely think there's some good stuff for this fall, heading into winter debates. So
right, and that's usually it. I mean, when a season looks pretty shit, there's always one or two really good anime, either their continuation or something that nobody expected that just happens to be really good. Skeleton Knight in Another World was probably the one from earlier this year that I was just blown away by how good that actually was.
No,
now,
seriously.
I asked you to watch it last time, and you said you have. So let's start off with that. What are your thoughts on that?
Oh, I thought it was good. I definitely liked the way how they moved with the story. They didn't like cut to certain things or like start a new adventure. You know what I mean? It all flowed well. They didn't do what they normally do in an isekai, where they like always are like, my past life this, my past life that. He like mentions it like 3-4 times. He's just like, how did I get here?
Yep.
Oh well. And then he just continues living his it's a good anime. The action scenes are phenomenal. The music for the action scenes, the opening, phenomenal. I definitely liked it a lot. I'm excited for season 2. I will say though, the advisor warning, I didn't feel like it was necessary. I didn't feel like I watched anything that hasn't, like, maybe the first 15 seconds of the first episode, maybe that's it. You know what I mean?
You have to remember that when the anime was put into production, not when it was released, but when it was put into production, was right around the time of the interspecies reviewers debacle, and right when Goblin Slayer was coming out.
Oh, okay,
so
that makes sense.
So it's like the Mortal Kombat thing back when in the 90s when I was a kid. It's like, oh my god, this has blood and violence. It's digital and horrible, terrible blood, but okay. Well, parents didn't know. So they're doing the advisory warnings because, especially now that more people are watching anime, a lot of people are like, oh, it's just cartoons. Well, Happy Tree Friends is a cartoon, but it's not for kids.
Right.
So they're just trying to minimize that legality risk and everything like that. And after interspecies reviewers, which Crunchyroll didn't know what they had got, and if you're into like really weird, like really hentai borderline anime, it's a fantastic comedy. It is just really raunchy. For those of you who don't know, it's a bunch of guys who go and review brothels. Just, I'll leave it there. It's actually pretty funny. With every new season, we have some gems. We have some flops, some stuff that gets overhyped. I feel like Chainsaw Man was one of those overhyped ones. Everybody had been talking about it for years and years and years and years. I didn't even make it through the first season before I dropped it. I was like, this is just so dumb. And it continues to lean into the same thing over and over again without growing. And I was just like, I can't, if it's going to be the same episode every week, then I'm not going to watch it.
Right. And that's pretty much what it was, you know, like I just think that the manga, and I haven't read much of the manga, but what I've read from the manga, it just doesn't translate well to an anime. I definitely think it's one of those manga only things, because if you look at the manga too, a lot of it's just art panels. There's not a lot of words. It's mainly just his art. And it's like, that doesn't translate well to an anime because you have your story, but you know what I mean, but you don't because it's just scenes of fights or stuff like that, and that's cool. But like,
My problem with it is the same problem I had with Spy Family, but in a very different way. Is that there's too much mystery and mystique around the characters you want to get to know, and not enough information to keep you wanting to watch to find out. Right? So that's Chainsaw Man. That's not this season. Let's recap onto this season. So, what have you watched so far of the, like, we're about a week and a half into the new season. What have you watched so far that has really been like, you know what? This is going to be good.
There's like 3, in my opinion, that are going to be absolutely gas pack. One of them it's called Shangri. I'm always thinking I'm going to say this wrong every single time. Shangri-La Frontier.
Shangri-La Frontier.
Yeah, see, I'm going to say it wrong every time, but that's fine. I believe the 3rd episode drops either today or tomorrow, but I did watch the first 2, and I'm actually really excited because everyone was like, oh, it's going to be just like SAO. No, it's not at all. You know what I mean? It's like, yes, you are going into it. It's so who don't know, it's a guy likes playing these trash games, and he's on a quest to find every trash game out there and beat it. Well, he then gets introduced to a god tier game, and he's like, okay, I need to beat this game. And so that's pretty much the premise of it, but there's a lot more that's going to happen. You could tell from the outside world inside the game. So I'm really excited for that anime. The action scenes from what it was are dope so far. And the animation is sick. The 2nd episode left on a huge cliffhanger. I cannot wait for episode 3. My second one is Berserk of Gluttony. That's going to have a lot of action, a lot of death, a lot of blood. For those who don't know, this guy has there's this power system of like holy knights going down to warriors, mages, and then like the bottom tier is gluttony, and that's what he is. But like, so he's just always constantly hungry, but he can feed on souls. So you can kind of get the gist there. I'm not going to spoil anything else because there's obviously a lot more to it. Definitely go check that out.
It definitely has the supernatural vibe. And this is what I was going to be in. What did I call this? Just for call outs. Now, a lot of anime fans get tricked, and this is one of the ones that looks good, but has a trick title. So when you see Berserk of Gluttony, you think of Berserk.
Right.
So you're going to think, okay, this is going to be bloody. It's going to be violent, yada, yada, yada. Great. As an anime fan, you know not to get tricked by it. By some people who are new into anime or know very little about anime, they're going to be like, oh, is this a continuation of Berserk? No. It's just like Full Metal Panic and Full Metal Alchemist. It has Full Metal in the title, nothing to do with the other source material.
Nothing to do with the same.
And that one does have a trailer. I watched the trailer. I haven't had a chance to watch it yet. For those of you who don't know, I work multiple jobs, so I don't get a lot of time. I have to be very particular about what I watch and when I watch. It is on my list of stuff to watch this season. I genuinely think this one falls in the category of could be really good or could also be hot garbage.
I could agree.
So we'll see what happens. I usually give it I go in with the mindset of the anime 3. Watch 3 full episodes. If it doesn't hook you, drop it. If it looks like it might hook you, continue it and play it per episode. And then if the first episode is so bad, then I still just wash my hands of it.
Right. And I definitely I have faith this anime is going to be good. I'm trying to figure out when the episodes drop, but both the first and the second anime that I recommended, those are both on Crunchyroll. If people wanted to know where to go watch those, go watch them on Crunchyroll. This third one though is on High Dive. The app is trash, but it's called Ragna Crimson.
Yep.
And the first episode came with an hour-long episode, and then second episode's obviously 20 minutes. I think the third episode actually dropped today, so I need to go watch that. But this could potentially take best anime of the season. and that's not an exaggeration.
It looks really good.
But that's if it doesn't fall off a pace I have a feeling it's going to go. I'm really hoping it doesn't, because it has to deal with time travel, and time travel is weird. But if they do it right, this is going to be the number one anime of the season. That's just no answer. Go watch Ragna Crimson ASAP. That's like above any anime this season you want to watch. You want to watch that.
High praise. I haven't watched it yet. The one I watched last night was Kingdom of Ruin, or the Kingdoms of Ruin. That one is about sort of witches helped humanity, and then humanity turned their back on the witches. The first
on my watch list.
The first episode was really dark. It feels. I kind of want to say it feels in the same vein of Full Metal Alchemist, because it's not an isekai, but it is an alternative world kind of to Earth and stuff like that.
Okay.
I will caution you though. I've only watched the first episode, and that's the only one that's out right now, as far as I can recall. It definitely 100% has vibes of where it could get really good or really terrible really fast.
Mm-hmm. I see.
So you watch to the credits and you're like, oh, okay. And then the credits are sort of like in the middle of the episode, and there's like 5 minutes afterwards. After that 5 minutes, really, it changes the tone of what they were going for. And I don't know if it's for the better or for the worse.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the Ruin of Kingdoms, or the Kingdoms of Ruin. And that one is on Crunchyroll as well.
Yeah, that's definitely on my watch list. I was going to watch that sometime this weekend.
Yep.
So we'll definitely have to tap into that. Definitely have to watch them, kind of give our feel about it. You know what I mean? Because if, we're an anime podcast and we're not watching anime, what are we actually doing? So
well, we're a pop culture podcast that focuses mostly on anime. You and I haven't had a lot of time to play video games, so we're kind of staving off on the video games at the moment.
I can get down with that. I appreciate that. Another one that I've been watching in.
Okay, well, while you're looking there, I will give you one that I was actually surprised by with how good it was. It was the first episode. It's a shoujo anime, and it's called Our Dating Story: The Experienced You and the Inexperienced Me.
I heard that anime is really good.
And like, I like good anime. I like shoujo. The thing that actually caught me off guard was the fact that it breaks just about every shoujo trope in the first episode. While also embracing it in the first episode. I'm not going to go into details on it. I'll give a more thorough review as the season goes on, but I was watching that with my wife and I was like, you know what? This is something completely different for a change. And I quite like it, because we all watch shoujo, we all watch shonen, we all watch isekai. They all have the basic premise and the formula. And my thought is always, is it good? And does it make the trope its own? That's why I always say, like, an anime needs to know what it is. Some of our friends over at the Ninja podcast were talking smack about Mushoku Tensei, and I agree with them. The points that they made were valid points. But Mushoku Tensei knows that it's a perverted anime.
True.
And that's why it works. It's not a case of, oh, I'm a shy guy. Ooh, look, boobs in my face. It's no, there's actual reasons as to why he is the way he is. And the fact that they don't resolve it in one episode. It quite literally takes the character 2 years.
Literally.
To get over his shtick.
2 years. So I finally figured out that anime too, by the way.
Yep.
Okay, it's called Frieren Beyond Journey's End. I don't really know exactly what genre this is in, but it's definitely going to go in the feels. You know what I mean? I'm definitely going to be crying a lot in this anime. I feel like I've only watched the first episode. There's 5 out actually right now, which is kind of crazy. But it's about this girl who's an elf who goes on a journey with this group. 10 years passed or whatever, and they complete the journey. And she was like, and all the guys are like, wow, like that was such an amazing journey. Like like I love you guys type shit. Like we're never gonna do this again. And then the elf is like, she is like, well, that was just only 10 years because obviously elves live longer than humans. And
Yeah.
that's like the most basic common knowledge of race. If you know race in anime shows or anything, elves usually live longer than humans. Usually.
About 1,000 years is it stems from the D&D trope.
Mm-hmm. So she thought, she over here is thinking like, that was only 10 years, like, why are you guys tripping? And then she comes like later visits, they're old, whatever. And she realizes like, oh, fuck. Like, and then so she starts to go on this journey. And I've only watched the first episode. I'm actually excited to watch it. It definitely has one of those things where if it trickles down a path, it's definitely not going to be good because these anime tend to drag a lot of things, and I'm really hoping it doesn't. I really hope the story like picks up quick and they get going quick. Like I said, I've only watched the first episode. I plan on watching the rest this weekend, so I'll definitely let you guys know next week.
I think that falls into the category of these retirement adventuring animes that are popular if they're done right. So there was one, and I, for the life of me, can't remember the name off my top of my head, but she's an adventurer who passes away in our world and goes back to the MMO. Like the MMO was kind of like saved for her as like a retirement thing. They don't explain the our world situation of it, but she goes back and it's been like 5 years since she was last in the game, and she's literally just retired. And I can't remember what it's like. So if you remember what it is in the comments below, please let me know. The other one that falls in the same category is I've been killing slimes for 300 years and I maxed out my stats. That was decent. It is very much if you want something to just chill to and vibe to, it's a great 12 episode anime. It's nothing special. There's nothing like, it's not the most action packed. It's not the best storytelling. It is quite literally just a chill anime. Like if you want to watch something on like a Saturday afternoon or a Sunday afternoon to just chill, that's an anime. And there's a lot of those coming out because a lot of these studios can't match the big budgets of the shonen anime and trying to do all the battle scenes and stuff like that. And they're also trying to tell a good story. So it's the same with the villainous trope, which is another one that's on my list.
That's also on my list.
I'm in love with the villainous.
Yes.
I'm putting that in a little section that I'm creating as of right now. It's called Trope Watch, where I'm going to watch animes based on a trope to see if they're actually any good. Now, the villainous trope is coming up like crazy. It is the new isekai genre. There are tons of villainous animes right now. Mangas, even. I was in the bookstore, last weekend, and they had like 7 or 8 different mangas that aren't even animes yet. The thing that strikes me about this one is it's the first Yuri one that I've seen. There's been a couple of villainous ones where she loves everybody's a big friend group, but you don't know who she's romantically involved with. This one is somebody who's actually in love with the villainess, and it's a Yuri one. And so that's a trope breaker, which is why I'm putting on my trope watch list, just to see if it's worth anything. If it's as good as Kiss Him Not Me, which is fucking hilarious. For all you Fujiyoshi fans out there, that's a hilarious comedy anime.
I'm about to watch that.
You know what Fujiyoshi stands or means, right?
No, I don't.
Women who like men lovers. BL, all that stuff. But Fujiyoshi are so Kiss Him Not Me is a girl who has guys in love with her, but she wants them to be in love with each other because she's a huge Fujiyoshi manga reader. It's absolutely hysterical. You'll love it.
Okay.
What else do you got? I've got a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah, so I have one I haven't watched yet. It's on Hulu, I believe. It's called Undead Unluck. I don't really know what this anime is about. just from the trailer, it looks wild and dope.
I took a look at it and I'm like, that seems like an interesting premise.
Yeah.
And I genuinely don't know if it's going to be good or not.
And the second episode comes out tomorrow, so I'll have to watch the first episode probably tomorrow just to give a look, and we can give an update, a couple weeks of how we feel about them. But
for sure.
That one definitely on the watch list. I would say I wouldn't say it could be bad. I don't say it could be good. I'm just going to say it's going to be average, and it's just going to be a good watch. That's just from what I see from the trailer and from basic knowledge of it.
There's an emerging trend again, and I say again because this happened about 20 years ago as well in anime and manga, of undead servants being there for the people who made them or for some other supernatural reason. Supernatural anime is nothing new. The servant trend is kind of coming back. I've got one that I watch. It's called Succubus and Hitman, where he's undead and he is a hitman who kills for the succubus, who feeds on souls. But there's a lot of that around. I don't know how much of it's getting turned into anime at this point. But there's a bunch of those floating around. Zombies seem to be coming back, particularly with Zombie 100.
Zom 100, Bucket List of the Dead that got delayed indefinitely. Yay.
Okay,
Literally no word. They just said, we're going to delay it indefinitely. It's not coming back for a long ass time. Fuck you guys. Go fuck yourselves. That's pretty much what they said to us. You're like, we have this fire ass anime and we're just going to fuck you guys.
Yep. I have no idea what's going on there.
I have literally no knowledge. The thing I looked up that I don't even think the studio released anything. They just said we're going to suspend it indefinitely, and it's already had a bunch of delays on it due to like holidays and stuff in Japan and showings on TV and stuff. But I mean, just a delay of project indefinitely when it already has a bunch of traction behind it.
The last time I heard of something like this, it was because the creator got into massive amounts of trouble.
I really hope that's not the case because this anime is literally so good. It is so good. If you guys haven't watched Zom, it came out in one of the previous seasons. I think it started coming out. Yes. It came out in the summer. Yes, it did come out for summer season. That was literally the only anime I was watching summer season. That's how trash the summer season was. Like that Zom 100 was the shit. Oh my God, it's so good. Definitely have to watch that if you guys haven't watched that. Another one, I don't know if you have this on your watch list. It's on my watch list. I'm probably going to watch it this weekend because that's when I watch a lot of my anime is the weekends. It's called A Returner's Magic Should Be Special. And pretty much I'm just going to give you guys the description of it. Another dimension continues to detain our world, the Shadow World. So it looks like we're going back to Yu-Gi-Oh! With the Shadow Realm, Shadow World. No. Humanity is faced with the worst calamity known as Shadow Labyrinth. In spite of desperate attacks, Desir Herman and his friends lose their battle to the destruction of Dragon, and the world comes to an end. And then when he's convinced he's at his end, he opens his eyes to find himself 13 years in the past. And he's gone back to where he was atop of the school of the mages in the Empire. So I think he's gonna I think it's gonna be one of those ones where he gets transferred back in time.
Yep.
And he has to fix his death, pretty much. It's like Groundhog's Day in a way.
Yep.
If you guys don't know what Groundhog's Day is, then you definitely shouldn't be watching this podcast because. That movie is older than me, and I even know what that movie is. At least I think it's older than me. I could be mistaken. But
yeah, see, I'm not a big fan of the time traveling thing, which is why that's not on my list.
Oh, okay.
Usually if I do end up watching those, I wait until the anime is done its run, and then I'll just sit down and watch it until I drop it or until I finish it. I'm not a big fan of going back and fixing things. And it has to do with the fact that my brain is very conscious of finding plot holes in time travel. I'm a big sci-fi buff. You watch any Star Trek, Babylon 5, Stargate, all those, big franchises. You just sit there and poke at the Swiss cheese of all the, temporal inconsistencies. And my brain, for whatever reason, the years and years of doing it, it's just not my cup of tea. Not saying it'd be good or bad. That's why it's not on my list.
Okay, that's also fair though. Everyone has their own genre of anime they like and stuff like that.
What do I got? Okay, so I also watched I'm giving the disgraced noble lady I rescued a crash course in naughtiness. So this is it's another shoujo one. It's kind of a reverse villainous concept. This guy is known as the Demon King of the Forest. He apparently looks human. We don't know if he's actually a demon yet or not after the first episode. But he finds this noble lady. It's very much a Cinderella story. She was betrothed to the prince who denounced their engagement, framed her, and exiled her all within the first 3 minutes of the anime. And she's so polite and she's so sweet and she's so kind and she's so nice that this guy has decided that, well, if you're going to be a live-in maid, I'm going to teach you how to be a naughty bitch because these people treated you poorly. So I'm going to teach you how to treat people poorly. So it's kind of like a reverse Cinderella kind of story. The reason it's on my list of stuff that I watched is I always go out of my way to watch the interesting title ones. Because I find that a lot of the times you'll find hidden gems. Skeleton Knight in Another World was one of those exact. How Not to Summon a Demon Lord. Season 1 was fantastic. Season 2 is trash. But I like finding weird things because I've been watching anime for the better part of, 30 years now. Fanatically watching anime for 30 years now. This is why I stay away from a lot of mainstream stuff. Not that I don't watch mainstream because I do. Shiotaro Season 3. Exactly one of the things come back this season. Season 3 started and felt the way season 2 should have.
Yeah.
Season 2 made me almost drop the anime. The only reason I finished all of season 2 was because I loved season 1. Season 3 feels like it's back on track, but now I'm leery. Is this going to fall off the rails again?
That's why I dropped season 2. It's because it's trash.
I mean, literally all you need to know in season 2 is just the result of the last 4 episodes, just because he references them. They've taken the pace and they've changed it in such a way that feels natural for what's going on in the world. And I think they realized that pacing was the biggest issue in season 2 because they cut out the fun part, which everybody who I've known read the manga said they cut out the best and funniest part of the entire series. Not manga, light novel, because it's a light novel series. Cut that part out, ran season 2, introduce you to characters who would have been introduced in that bit that they cut out, tell you nothing, and then dragged on the story to fill out 12 episodes.
Yeah.
And that just seemed like such a weird way of doing it. But season 3 does feel like so far that it's starting off with a bang. So I'm kind of glad for that because that anime deserved better than what season 2 gave it, for sure. Next on my list is The Saints Magic Powers Omnipotent season 2. That's a returning anime. That one is surprisingly well told. It's another very chill slice of life shonen or shoujo anime. It very much is not exciting at all. It is very much a chill anime. But the character development for an isekai, for a healer person, main character, it just feels good. And the first season was so good that I was like, if this doesn't get a second season, I'd be freaking surprised. And here we are at the second season, and the second season feels like it never stopped. Is it the most exciting? No. But if you like character-driven stories and you like things that are, like where your adrenaline's not pumping every 10 seconds, it is definitely an anime worth checking out. The other one that my wife and I watched is actually from last season, and it's something about a cleric. I forget the actual title of it. And that one actually started off kind of like Reincarnated as a Slime did, but without the comedy at the beginning. It went from dark into comedy.
Okay.
instead of comedy into comedy. The first episode was definitely worth a watch, but that's last season. Let's see here. On my list of stuff to watch, I have Arknights. I enjoyed the mobile game for a bit. The animation and the storyline take a lot to get into. I'm not a big fan of mobile games to begin with. So I'm hoping the anime is more streamlined storytelling because it has a good premise and it is based on a video game. And video game anime, as we know, is very hit and miss. Some of it's
Very
fantastic.
Some of it's trash.
Like Grand Blue was freaking amazing. The Bayonetta movie was boring for a
Boring.
Bayonetta thing. Like, so we're all hitting the strides. On the gaming front, we also have Onimusha, which is coming to Netflix.
Okay. I've never heard of that one.
Onimusha is a game for the PlayStation 2. Very, very fun game series for a hack and slash game series. And so they have the anime coming to Netflix. It looks good. Whether it is good or not, again, video game anime. Dota Dragon's Blood ended up being much better than it had any right to be. Arcane, of course, is fucking top tier god series. I wouldn't call that an anime, but it's definitely like probably one of the best video game adaptations into an animated series I've ever seen. What else do we got here? I got The Faraway Paladin Season 2.
That's what I was just about to bring up. That's funny.
The first series shocked me with how good it was.
I was going to say that too. Might as well just take the words and keep talking out of my mouth. Might as well just keep going. Fuck it.
That was definitely a diamond in the rough. I did not expect that. Like the way it started and the way it finished made me go, how did they pull that off? Like just
It was so good.
It felt so seamless.
Mm-hmm. Effortless.
That's a masterclass in an isekai storytelling. It really is.
Facts. It really is. The Faraway Paladin is easily top 5 with season if it continues to its pace.
For sure. I haven't watched the first episode yet, but I'm probably going to hit that up either tonight or tomorrow. Definitely this weekend for sure.
If you wait 1 day, 10 hours and 21 minutes, episode 2 will be out.
Giving away our time and location, are you?
Yeah. Yes, I am.
So this one's a surprising one to me, and I have been berated, and people have been angry at me, including my wife. Evidence and Shadow Season 2. Now this has been re-added to my list, and I was talking with my wife. And I said, the first episode was shit. I couldn't carry on. And she goes, it's one of those slow burn ones that once you get past the third episode, the series gets really good. She's like, I dropped it after the first episode. And then I went back and watched the entirety of the first season. And it's so good. And I'm going,
yeah, I heard it's phenomenal.
And then I watched the trailer for season 2. And now I'm like, okay, this is getting added back on my list. And I will endeavor to get through season 1. And if I do, I'll watch season 2. The next one on the list is on my to watch list is Goblin Slayer. Not gonna lie, I have to be in the right headspace to watch something like that. I can't just pick it up and watch it whenever I feel like it.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that.
It is one of those animes that is so good, but it takes a toll. Like just emotionally, you feel just like exhausted when you're done. So I've got to be in the right mood for that. If it's anything like season 1, it's going to be fantastic. We'll see. I mean, Goblin Slayer has always struck me as one of those animes where if it tries to deviate from what it is, even though what it is very easy to follow, it'll either be excellent or utter trash, like complete fall off cliff, never touch again kind of thing. So here's hoping that they remain on track. I'm sure they will. I mean, the season 2 has been in production for what, like 2-3 years, something like that. And then I've got a couple of other ones. These are my trope watch ones. These are ones that I want to watch strictly because of the trope. The first one is My Daughter Left the Nest and Returned as an S-Rank Adventurer.
I was going to bring that one up too.
I like the parenting ones, like my mom and her 2-sword hitbox. That one, I think that's what it's called in English. That one is fucking hilarious. It is not a good anime. It's not. It is literally just hot trash. Okay. And what I like, the anime community is very used to having hot trash. Now, there are anime people out there like Mother's Basement and stuff like that who will say this is hot garbage, meaning it's awesome, but it has no right to be awesome because it's trash.
Right.
And those type of animes are always the best. So My Daughter Left the Nest and Returned as an Esoteric Adventurer. That one was really good. I'm a big fan of these isekais that even if the person is overpowered, there's something to them. They have a gritty character to them. You know, I'm overpowered in the alternative world, which made me unrivaled in the real world or whatever it was called from last season. That was so much better than it had any right to be. And it's kind of an isekai because he can travel between both worlds. But the fact that he has the glow up, he starts performing well at school, he gets all these lucky breaks, plus all of his venturing in the other side, and the fact that he starts bringing people across both sides is just, it's an interesting take on a very already oversaturated genre.
That's true.
For anyone who says that isekai is not oversaturated, you're delusional.
It is oversaturated as hell.
And then the last one I have, and this one it's the Demon Lord Resurrected trope. And this is the Demon Sword Master of Excalibur Academy.
Motherfucker, that was my last one too. God damn it.
That one I'm watching because it just reminds me of the Misfit King of Demon Academy.
That's just going to say it reminds me of so much of that.
Which again was so much better than it had any right to be.
I agree.
I'm very excited for the season. I have, of course, not watched everything. I haven't looked into everything. There's a lot of trailers I have not seen. So if you guys have any recommendations for this season, any recommendations for anime within the last year, by all means, let us know. Like, we love watching good anime. And if it's shit, we'll just be like, hey, I watch this and it's shit.
Dog shit.
There's tons of animes. Like we were talking with a friend of ours in the Discord today. He's watched well over 400 animes. I'm sure I'm well over that as well.
I'm sure I'm well over that as well.
If we go back far enough, there's probably some gems that are, 5 years old, 10 years old, 20 years old that you've never heard of. And then you'd be like, hey, this came out 3 years ago. Did you watch it when it came out? I'd be like, no. And then all of a sudden I'm watching something really good. So we love to share. We love to make sure that you guys have kind of an inroad as to what to watch and everything. If you want us to break this down more genre specific, like say, these are the best shoujo anime, these are the best shonen anime, these are the best isekai anime, we can do that.
We can do that for sure.
For now, it's just going to be hot takes, especially the beginning of the season. I mean, a lot of animes can be really good first episode and a lot of animes can be trash. I always think back to Devil's a Part-Timer. That first episode had me in stitches just because he was Satan and now he's working at McDonald's.
Right. Literally. And
it was a reverse isekai because they were coming to our world, which I found kind of nice and again refreshing. Like if you're going to do a trope and you're going to do a genre, let's do a different take on it. Speaking of different take, want to get 2 minutes of Two Fate on this. All right, here we go. 2 minutes right now. What's your take on the new Dragon Ball announcement?
I'll go on the good side of it. I feel like the good side's the hard side too. So I'm excited because it's Dragon Ball. We get Dragon Ball anime back. We get episodes. We get stuff to watch weekly. We get Goku, Vegeta, and all those people. We get a new story that's not based off the manga at all. Like, we get a completely anime, brand new, anime only, literally anime only story. So, and I'm not sure if it's going to be canon. I don't know if it's just like a spin-off series, but from what I understand, it looks like it's going to be canon, and it looks like it's going to take place between Dragon Ball's like the Majin Buu saga and the Super saga, where they started in between there. So in between Dragon Ball Z and Super.
So after Buu and before Resurrection F.
Yes, from my understanding of watching the trailer. But yeah, no, we finally get Dragon Ball back after a bunch of years, so that's super good. I'm excited about it.
I have my reservations because it generally feels like they're trying to reboot Dragon Ball GT.
Yeah, that's where it kind of felt like.
However, in the same vein of Dragon Ball, if you know anything about Dragon Ball, anything that's not manga is by default considered not canon because it's just the Dragon Ball movies are not canon. Some of them are absolute trash and some of them are gems. So when you look at Dragon Ball, I never take it seriously. It's just like watching a One Piece movie. It's just like watching a Bleach movie. It's just like watching a Bleach filler. So for me, when it comes to Dragon Ball, I look at three things. Is it entertaining? Do all of the Dragon Ball tropes fit within the universe they're doing? And number three, does it feel like it's Dragon Ball, even if it's not canon? It's just like playing a Dragon Ball game or a Naruto game or a Bleach game or a One Piece game. They're not canon unless they're just retelling the story.
Right.
So for me, I'm walking into this like it's just a Dragon Ball series. It's nothing special. Like for me, in my world, Dragon Ball Z is no longer canon because of Dragon Ball Abridged.
That's fair.
And not a knock against Akira Toriyama, but that's just how I go with it. And other than that, it's Dragon Ball. I mean, if you're going to be loopy, crazy, and weird, Dragon Ball.
Mm-hmm. And I agree with that. My honest opinion, though, I'm really not excited for this. You know, they did Dragon Ball wrong. Toei just doesn't want to see, and the creator just doesn't want to see Dragon Ball succeed. They have two really good arcs they can animate right now. You know what I mean? It's like I don't understand why they don't.
I think it's because when they did Super, they caught up to the manga entirely too fast, and I think they want to finish Dragon Ball. Come on, it's been on for 40 years. I think they want to finish Dragon Ball to the point where they could just animate it all in one go. Because they make more money that way.
I guess, but like what, they're on their fourth arc now. I think they're on their third arc from the anime. Maybe they're on their fourth from the anime. But like that's a lot of content. Each chapter is 40 pages long, you know what I mean? Like I don't know. I wish they would have just brought back Super and started with an arc of the manga.
Sorry, choking on my water there.
I'm still unfortunately gonna watch it because it's Dragon Ball.
But don't say unfortunately. It might be so properly done that you might enjoying it for all the wrong reasons.
I guess that's fair.
So it's not the first anime to do this. If you look at other animes that have done this before, Isekai Quartet is one. Bungo Stray Dogs has done a chibi alternate version.
Mm-hmm.
It is very common. Lotus War did it in the 90s with their TV series. They had their little animated cartoons at the end. If you take the side series seriously, you're going to miss out the point. So if you watch Isekai Quartet and you have watched all or most of the isekais, it is absolutely hilarious watching these characters interact with characters they normally wouldn't. If you are going in, the Gatekeeper anime reviewers who are, stoic, stone-faced, don't watch this, you're like, anime is to be enjoyed.
Mm-hmm.
I think that this is Toei's way of introducing Dragon Ball to the next generation, which means it's not for us.
I guess I could see that.
However, they're going to try to appeal to us anyway, because we're the ones with the money and the credit card who have the kids that they're trying to introduce Dragon Ball to.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever you say about Akira Toriyama, Toei has been there from the beginning, making bank. And they know Dragon Ball is going to sell. It's the same reason Hello Kitty sells. There's a fan base that will always be there.
Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, no.
So I'm going to take this with a grain of salt, and I'm going to say, okay, it might be good, it might be trash, it might be both. But as always with Dragon Ball, I will wait until the English dub.
Yes, I agree. I'll wait till the English dub comes out. Maybe we'll see, but I probably will.
Now, with all that said, we're going to leave it there for today. We're going to come back in a couple of weeks, go through some anime. We're still planning our anime rumble. We do apologize. Scheduling has been a freaking nightmare.
Ferocious. I hate life and everyone else's lives. Fuck them.
Agreed.
I'm just kidding.
No, when we get it set up, we will be streaming it again. With any luck, we'll have a couple more people, some familiar faces. You know, we'll just start with like the big three suck. All of them suck. If you like the big three, they suck. You know, let's just hate on the big three.
That's pushing it though. I mean, Luffy's in the big three. You know what I'm saying? He's the GOAT. So,
well, there's a question for you guys. What anime are the big three? Why are they the big three? And do you agree with what you think are the big three and what everyone else thinks is the big three? Because if you look at the lists, it's the big six. That's 7, but whatever. So you got to be very careful.
Comments too. Answer that in the comments for us.
Yeah. What do you got? Tell us what are the big three. I'm gonna start saying, hey, these are the big shonen 3. These are the big isekai 3. These are the big shoujo 3.
I think that's fair.
These are the 3 that are the big 3 because they're good, not because they're popular. It really depends on what you define it as. And again, it also shows your generation because legions of anime fans come from different generations. So everybody talks to me about Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh! And how awesome it was growing up with it. I was in high school or out of high school when those were airing. So for me, they're not the anime I grew up on.
Right.
So there's always an argument to be had. And then it could be, okay, boomer, I'm a millennial, but whatever. So we can have those arguments next time. I definitely want to sit down on the Anime Rumble. And I just want to say, okay, you guys pick the anime. I don't care what it is. And I'm going to be the big bad villain. If you guys say, okay, let's pick Naruto, let's pick One Piece. Okay, well, then I'm going to be an asshole. Whether I like the anime or not, I just find it fun. Stirring the pot among nerds is one of the most fun things ever. In school, I would always pit the Star Wars nerds and the Star Trek nerds against each other. It was just a glorious blast. That does it for us this week. Oh, I am too. But that does it for this week. As always, you can find all our links below. You can always tweet at me at Hanrold. Yes, I still call it Twitter because X is fucking stupid. Feel free to drop the line, ask a question. If there's a topic you think we should touch on, do you think that art of Nami in the background needs to be ripped off Kimmer's wall and put on my wall?
That's also fair. It's also a good question to ask.
Very good question to ask. I don't know why you put holes in it, though. You should have bought a frame for that one.
I definitely should have. You're not wrong.
All right, but when I get some time, I'll throw images of my background and stuff. I'm going to start probably an Instagram or a Facebook page that Kimmer and I can start talking and creating a community. I know we've been kind of lagging on that, but I've been working Twitch, so. But if you guys need anything, please feel free to ask. If you guys want to know what our takes are on stuff, feel free to ask. And as always, we're diving to the bottom of the anime bin, so you don't have to. Have a good one. Cheers.